Now go on to Google and type "do a barrel roll." Press enter and the entire page starts spinning. Wow, that's cool. Well, this is not just some cool trick. This is one of the last relics of a bygone era. The era when technology was built by nerds that were just having fun. But I'm sure you also noticed that all of this is gone. Silicon Valley killed fun. And there's a very specific reason why. It's the same reason why every piece of tech you use today seems so lifeless, boring, almost too perfect. But there's something else that's been happening right now behind the scenes. You may not have noticed it yet. We just started going back to the fun and weird era of tech. And this is coming from the weirdest of places. I'm Enrico, and on this channel I go behind the scenes of the design, engineering and psychology of the tech we use every day. But to understand what's happening right now, we need to go back where it all started. It's 2001, and this guy named Paul Bouquet is working at this new weird startup called Google. At this point, they are basically the world's biggest attractors of talented nerds. Their motto is "Don't be evil." They ended up even trying to ban managers altogether, although that didn't last long. And Paul had an idea. What if email had Google search inside it? That's it. That's the entire pitch. So he started working on an email service. Not because Google asked him to, not because it was in any roadmap. And his little project, it was started just for fun, became, well, what most of us type our emails on today. Or take Gabe Newell. He runs Valve, one of the most successful game studios of all time and the makers of Steam. And in 2007, he suddenly decided to shut everything down. All game development, work on Steam, everything. And for a few months, he turns the entire company into what he called one big creative playground. For 3 months, employees broke into small teams and just experimented. No deadlines, no deliverables, just make something interesting. And at the end, they held kind of an internal science fair where teams showed what they built. The ideas that they developed here ended up in games like Portal 2, which is a masterpiece, one of my favorite games of all time. These people weren't building because somebody told them to or because there's an item on the roadmap. They did it because they find it fun, like having Google results spin when you type a specific keyword, or creating a 3D shredder animation when you delete a card on the iPhone's wallet app, creating crazy skins for no reason. The 2000s was the time of creators, and out of this pure and sheer fun came some of the biggest products in history. Early Google hired smart people that like to have fun building technology and gave them 20% of their work time to build whatever they felt like. And out of this random, completely unplanned fun time came products like Gmail, Google News, AdSense, which became one of Google's largest revenue generators. They weren't designed by focus groups or validated by A/B tests. They were built by people who just thought, it'll be fun to make that. This is a famous photo of Steve Jobs testing out the first version of the photo booth app on Mac, showing off the new real-time camera effects in 2005. There's absolutely no reason why Apple, this gigantic tech company, would need to add to their serious operating system these silly effects. If not because why not? It's fun. I mean, take a look at this menu from the original Xbox. It didn't need to hit this hard. They could have made something simple and minimal, but you know what? Why not? This is the time where the internet was starting to spread. We are starting to see the evolution of mobile thanks to the iPhone and the first Android devices. And this was the time of experimentation. They tried to try the new and wacky. And users were also given the ability to be creators. Customization was everywhere. The social network MySpace was built on this idea that you would build your own personal page with backgrounds, effects, music, and making it truly yours. Now, did these look good? No, but the point is that it was just fun for the sake of it. I remember you could customize your music player skin in Winamp, and I spent hours in high school trying to find the weirdest icon packs and skins and custom ROMs on my crusty HTC Android phone. Technology was fun, but because it was built by people that, in the end, were having fun building it. And that's when Silicon Valley came knocking.
You know what? Guys, you built all these incredible things, you had fun building your products, you gave us this weird, wacky world of the internet, apps, mobile devices, social media, gaming, but this isn't a game anymore. Now, these are trillion-dollar, hyper-valuable, hyper-growth markets. So why don't you go back to your laptops and let the pros take it from here?
And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. 2011, Google killed Google Labs, where users for 9 years could try and experiment new experimental features. 2012, Google requires manager approval for 20% time. 2013, iOS 7 gets rid of the skeuomorphism. The time of experimentation is over. Now, it's time to optimize. Around this time, tech companies from small startups to large big tech started hiring differently. Instead of hiring engineers who loved building things, they started hiring MBAs, management consultants, HR, managers of managers. This was not the era of creators. It became the era of operators. And you can literally see this change in how the interfaces and the look of the products we use every day has changed. Take a look at these two interfaces. Let's put them side by side and let's ask people to complete an action like open the settings on each one of these. Which one do you think will perform best? Well, this one, of course, maybe just by a few milliseconds. So that's how we get rid of the old one. This is the rise of usability testing and A/B testing, where products are not built for fun, but by brute forcing numbers. Building 10 variations of the same button or UI or component, see what performs best and ship that one. Or relentlessly testing every single flow in your app to minimize clicks, to make sure that even the less tech-savvy users can actually use it. And what do you think will happen when you do that? All those textures, all the personality, all the fancy visuals, the fun quirks, the Easter egg that make these products so successful and interesting, well, scientifically speaking, they're just noise. And you can see this everywhere. Take a look at Spotify, for example. 2011, away go custom apps that you could build on top of Spotify. 2016, messages get removed. 2018, custom themes get removed as well. In 2021, even the heart button gets removed in favor of a boring plus. Why? Because probably some bozo in some usability test didn't understand that the heart meant save to library. The plus icon is clearer, it's more efficient, but it's also completely soulless. Take a look at this X post. It's a designer redesigning Instagram stories feature with this beautiful design that mimics plain windows. I have to say, it's incredibly cool. It looks fun, it's playful, it's really nice. Well, here's what someone that actually works in social media has to say about it. This is never gonna ship. The height of rectangles will push down the rest of the feed, causing a regression in view time, and ultimately revenue from ads plus showing the content top level in the thumbnails will cause users to be more selective in what they view, leading to a regression in overall story view time and ultimately revenue. Lose-lose. This is how optimizers think. But even though this is the era of the operators and the optimizers, creators are still doing what they can. Here's the actual designer behind Instagram stories replying to this. We built it and it performed better on business metrics, and we didn't ship it because it was less human. You skipped all your friends' posts and you watched memes and celebrities. Making you choose the person and not the media is intentional. But still, this gives you an idea of how products have been built for the last 10 years. Everything became driven by numbers, metrics, optimizing every pixel, every action, every tap. This is the same reason why every product started to look the exact same. For over a decade, Netflix A/B tested everything. They showed half the users one interface and half the users another. They measured which one got more clicks, more viewing time, more engagement. They discovered that bigger poster art equals higher click-through rate. Horizontal scrolling equals more browsing and more time on the platform. Autoplay previews are annoying, but they increase engagement and you cannot look away. Algorithmic rows of personalized content are harder to leave. And it worked. Netflix's interface became a perfectly tuned engagement machine. So every competitor either got to the same exact result by optimizing their own interface, or they just straight up copied what works. And that's how we got to this. Now, sometimes the creators did manage to fight back in this period and keep some of the weirdness and fun alive, but it didn't always land well. In 2016, Gmail launched an April Fool's joke called Mic Drop. If you hit the mic drop button, a minion would appear, dropping the mic, and it will mute the conversation so the sender wouldn't see any new replies. Only thing was that the mic drop button was close to the real send button, and millions of people accidentally clicked it, with people missing out on important emails and even losing job opportunities because of this. Google quickly disabled it and they issued an apology. Startups may start with that creative, fun spirit, but eventually they would end up hiring and being run not by creators, but by operators. By people that realized that boring is profitable. During Apple's Tim Cook operator era, they made much more money than in Steve Jobs' creator era. While in the 90s and 2000s, the people going into tech are the engineers that want to build something fun, or the designers or the artists. In the 2010s, a swarm of MBAs, business executives, finance people, HR, project managers, marketing people, they got into tech not because they love to build cool, fun products, but because now tech is where the money was, where they could optimize it even more. And you can see this also in the actual Silicon Valley, the actual place.
The crazy thing about walking in this place is that this, to me, is the furthest thing possible and imaginable from high-tech, world-changing innovation. Look at this. There's so much nature around. There's beautiful houses everywhere, It's so calm. If you show me this, the last thing I would think about is high-tech world center of innovation and technology.
So we perfected usability. We mastered A/B testing. Apps ended up all looking the same. The operators kicked the creators out. They won, or so they thought, because this is not a switch. It's more like a pendulum. I mean, if you go to Silicon Valley, you can still see the remnants of the last time the pendulum swung.
So this is the famous sign, Meta HQ, one hacker away, but let me show you what's behind it. Some of you might remember Sun because of Java, if you're old enough, but it's literally the greatest example of how things here move so fast. This thing was at the top of the world just 25 years ago, and now it's on the backside of the next generation of companies in the Valley.
And you guessed it, the pendulum is starting to swing back once again. And boy, are we getting back to technology being fun. But before we get to that, I want to show you what I built using the sponsor of this video, Bolt.new. See, a friend of mine owns a few restaurants, and he told me that he hates the software tools that he uses for organizing his staff shifts, because they just don't work for how his restaurant is set up. So I gave him Bolt, and with that, he was able to build, with a few prompts, a working app to track employee shifts and build exactly the system he needed for his own restaurant. A few years ago, this would have been unthinkable. But now, thanks to Bolt.new, you can take all the ideas that are in your head and the problems that you face every day and build your own apps just by chatting in natural language. Just start describing what you want and boom, not a mock-up, but a real working app that's live on the internet. And with the new Bolt v2, Bolt lets you build even more complex applications, giving you tools that were once reserved for developers, like Cloud Code and a custom backend, without knowing how to code and directly in Bolt. You can try it out for free today. Just go to Bolt.new and start building something real. But now let's get back to our story, because try to guess what all these people have in common. This is Ilya Sutskever, chief scientist at OpenAI, and he used to work at Google. This is Geoff Hinton, godfather of deep learning. He used to work at Google. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, and he used to work at Google. Andrej Karpathy led Tesla AI, ex-OpenAI, and he used to work at Google. Noam Shazir, co-author of the breakthrough paper that gave us large language models like ChatGPT, and he worked at Google. Alex Krizhevsky, he built AlexNet, the first AI model optimized to run on GPUs, and he worked at Google. What do you say? No, the thing that they have in common is not that they worked at Google, is that these people are all creators. And yet, this was the wrong time. The 2010s was a time of operators. But things would change on November 30th, 2022. OpenAI, out of nowhere, comes out with ChatGPT. It becomes the fastest growing tech product in history, and Google goes into code red alert. They scramble to get something together, and a few months later, they do one of the most disastrous product launches ever. Their first attempt at an AI chatbot, Bard. And it failed spectacularly. Despite Google having the best generational talent in AI, that was the era of operators. And Bard was the product of that era. But now we just entered a new territory. The era of tech companies being run by professionals trying to optimize everything to the extreme suddenly was over. And immediately everyone realized it. This is Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb.
As I'm not telling them what to do, but I'm in the room with them, like when I was a founder, and we're back and forth, we're brainstorming. It's not about I'm giving you space to do your job. It's not about Jessica, go right, go left. It's about, as a leader, we're all generally going this way, but how do you think we can get there? Great, well, what about this? What about that? It's a creative flow, like three founders building a product. Why does it ever have to stop? And that was the creative process that allowed us to basically rebuild the company from the ground up.
This idea of founder mode versus manager mode caught on like wildfire. Even Google, which we used so far as the biggest example of all this, followed suit. Sergey Brin, one of the two Google's co-founders who stepped down in 2019, came back to work on AI pretty much every day. They went back to letting creators just do things and ship them for the sake of it. In the last couple of years, Google Labs is back, and it gave us so many new tools every single month. Notebook LM, Flow, Pomeli, Mixboard, Project Marine. Now the Gemini models are starting to get really good as well. They came out with VO Free, with Nano Banana, and these are not things that are here because some manager put them on the roadmap. They're here because someone thought, hey, this would be fun to build. And you can literally feel this shift, also in the way new products look and feel, in the actual interface and design. New products are filled with playful animations. Depth and texture is coming back. Effects that have no reason for being here other than being fun. Now tell me, do you think that Apple's liquid glass that has realistic surface tension that simulates water, or realistic reflection that chromatic aberration just like real curved glass, do you think that some executive in some boardroom decided that? It came out of creators and designers just having fun. Look at this. This is the onboarding screen for Perplexity's Comet browser, or OpenAI's browser Atlas, with this shimmer effect. These are cool, they're fun. Even traditionally boring companies like Microsoft are realizing the importance of this. So much so that I wouldn't believe I'd ever say this, but Clippy is back. Microsoft gave a personality and appearance to their Copilot assistant, and just because it's more fun. Companies like Notion are implementing personalities and weird hats back into their products. Look at the latest redesign of Airbnb with 3D icons and seemingly unnecessary animation, but it's what gives it character. Textures, which have been gone from tech for the last 15 years, are creeping back in. Even here on YouTube, they're starting to have fun again. I don't know if you noticed, but if you like a video down here, you now have these animations that change depending on the topic of the video. Is it necessary? No. Will it improve conversion or engagement? Also no. Could it confuse some bozo who cannot find this usable? Probably. But they said, you know what? Fuck it. It's fun. It's about creating products not from optimizing and A/B testing, but by making them kind, silly, playful, and just more human. Like this footer, which tells you, come on man, just buy the product if you came all the way here. This would have never flied 5 or 10 years ago. It would have been A/B tested to death or killed by some executive that got into tech because of the money. But this is what happens when you let creators create. This is Shopify's internal message board. It's an actual 3D pole that you can rotate and move around and staple files to. This is Flask. It's a video collaboration tool, and it's my own company. I spent 5 hours redesigning this effect that you see in the homepage with the waves coming in and out of the bottle as you scroll, for no other reason that it was cool. I had fun making it. And even the branding of new companies right now is going in a completely different direction than a few years ago. Look at these. These are all tech companies, but they incorporate imagery, logos, and style from old companies. They're not anymore just plain white, boring logos. In the 2000s, the new thing was the internet. And that generation of creators had fun building the most influential products of the 21st century, which in the next 15 years got optimized to the bone by an army of operators. But now we just shifted back. The people we need right now are not the ones that say, what is the ROI of this feature? But the ones that say, you know what would be so fucking cool? But there's something else that has been going on in tech for the past 20 years. And it actually has a lot to do with this. It's the same reason why you get so angry when Netflix increases their price by $2, but at the same time, we rush to buy the latest $1,600 iPhone every year. And it's a story of how the price of our tech got broken. And you can find out all about it in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.